Boys and girls, welcome to another edition of The Lap Down. I am your host, Greg Farmer, back after a somewhat hiatus. And with me tonight is Ryan, Jayme, and Tylor. How are we doing tonight, boys?
Not too bad, you.
Doing good,
Uh,
doing good. Glad to have you back, bud.
yep, I'm
Yep.
doing good.
Glad to have you back.
Yep. So as always, a big thank you and shout out to Will and the Alkali Project for the intro and outro music on the show. Please be sure to check out their album, The Blood World, wherever you get your music. Before we start tonight, I just want to say something on a personal level. Um, I was out last week, or I mean, I've been out for a couple of weeks due to work and stuff like that. But last week was pretty personal. Um, Back in November of 2024, my best friend in the whole world, Josh Beringer, was diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer known as Burkitt's lymphoma, and
Oh,
he underwent uh, three different chemo treatments and a specialized treatment called CAR T, and none of them worked and made him get better. And unfortunately, he passed away peacefully last Thursday around 3:30 p.m. So, if it's okay with you guys, I would like to dedicate tonight's episode to Josh.
I respect that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I appreciate that. But we're gonna get into some breaking news from the last day or two. Yesterday, Caden Honeycutt was released from Nice Motorsports after signing with another team and OEM manufacturer for 2026. And the guys on DBC hinted at a little bit of a rumor that actually came true today. In order for Caden to stay eligible for the playoffs, he will be filling in the Young's Motorsports truck this weekend at Watkins Glen. And then for the remainder of the 2025 Truck Series season, he will be filling in the 52 truck for Stuart Friesen, who is currently out with an injury. Ryan, what do you think about Caden being released from Nice?
Well, initially, I found the timing especially weird because of the fact that they released him literally, I think, only a couple of hours after the official entry list came out, and we saw Christopher Bell's name on the 52 for this week. But also, I don't think anyone had any clue that Caden Honeycutt was one on Toyota or anybody else's radar. Really, I mean, we knew he'd had a couple of impressive runs in the Nice Motorsports trucks, but I don't think any of us had him like as a prime candidate for promotion. So the fact that one, he got released, and at least at the time we didn't know exactly why, and then to find out that he had a contract with Toyota for next year really kind of threw I think a lot of us for a loop, and then the about 24 hours of speculation as to okay, where is he gonna go? So I'm glad he's
Yep.
gonna land somewhere on his feet for the playoffs, so he can actually race.
Yeah. And remember, we were debating in our chat last week about who was going to fill in the 52, and we were throwing all sorts of names out there, and Caden Honeycutt's name never came up in our conversations.
Yep. Again, as
Uh,
I said, I don't think any of us had him primed as a candidate for promotion.
nope. Jayme, what about you?
So it was definitely weird, and the things I had looked into on it was it said that the move came as a result of Honeycutt inking a deal with another organization and automaker, so pretty much Tricon Garage and Toyota, for 2026. So because he signed a new deal with another team and another manufacturer in 2026, I don't know. It seems kind of petty to me that he just goes and cuts him in the middle of the season when they're especially in playoff contention, and just because he decided to go with another manufacturer and another team for 2026 doesn't really. I don't really vibe with that.
Yeah, I could understand it a little bit better if they had if it had been basically a mutual parting of ways. That way, they could try out different drivers for next year, and he could start acclimating to a Toyota system. But again, they released him shortly after the one available Toyota seat was filled, and left him at least to some degree in question of would he even be able to find a ride.
Yep. Tyler, what about you?
I found that quite interesting. Caden Honeycutt is a solid driver. Like, I think him probably going into the Toyota camp is very good for his career, especially with how good the Toyota development is, and him being able to complete the playoffs in a playoff car. I think he'll actually make a deep playoff run. I think the kid will go far.
Yeah, and not to mention too, with Caden running the 52, that keeps the 52 in the owners' points battle for the owners' points championship for the Truck Series. But yeah,
Yeah, the kid's definitely got some talent there.
oh
Definitely
for
got some
sure.
talent, and I don't know and that's probably why it really surprised me that they just come in the middle of the season because he is super talented and as a team owner and like for team points and the structure of the business, like why would you risk losing the money that you're going to make with the playoff run just to be petty?
I don't know. But before we move into our next topic, speaking of door bumper clear, I was listening to their episode today. They said that Connor Zilic will be the guest next week, and he is supposed to announce his 2026 plans on the show. So y'all keep an eye out for that.
So he gets to announce what we've all known for a couple months now.
Well, there's a few rumors going around that he may be leaving Trackhouse.
What?
Yeah, I saw that.
I cannot confirm it,
Why
but
would he leave Trackhouse? That's like the one team that has a clear path to Cup for him.
I don't know.
And by path, I mean an open seat this year.
Yeah.
Because
Well-
right now that 99 is kind of the only open seat.
Well, speaking of rumors, there was a rumor that I seen going around the last couple of days that the Haas factory team may be merging with Legacy Motor Club in 2026 and switching manufacturers from Ford to Toyota. What do you think about that, Ryan?
I hadn't seen too much about it, so I'd have to look into it, but it makes sense considering Haas is already downsized from a 4-car juggernaut team that was a cornerstone to Ford's development process to really now kind of an afterthought for Ford. If Ford were to lose that 1 car to Toyota, I don't think it would make much of a difference for Ford versus before when they were a 4-car operation. To lose all 4 of those cars to Toyota would have been a much bigger hit to Ford. So I'm not overly surprised to see them making a change there. It kind of seems like the next section to selling off / reducing the amount of the size of Haas Automation. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense, similar to how we've seen in the past other teams kind of downsize as they're working their way out of the league entirely. Which I hope Haas doesn't leave entirely, but yeah, that also we know Legacy Motor Club has talked about aggressively wanting a 3rd charter as early as possible. So this might be how it happens. So looking
Yeah.
forward to finding out what it happens when they announce it.
Yeah. Well, don't forget they're in that lawsuit battle too with Rick Ware Racing about getting that 3rd charter, and apparently all of this stuff went down over the last few days. That basically stopped TJ, whatever his last name is, from actually purchasing Rick Ware Racing.
Pusher. Yeah, TJ Putcher or whatever his name is.
Yeah. Jayme, what about you? What do you think?
Sorry, I was having some mic issues. I didn't catch anything that was just said.
Oh, you're good. We're talking. We're talking about the possibility of a merger between Haas Factory Team and Legacy Motor Club in 2026, and Haas Factory Team switching to Toyota.
I mean, that would be interesting. I think it is probably needed considering the performance that, like Cole Custer, he's not. Wait, is Cole Custer right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cole Custer.
Yeah. So you got Cole Custer in
So
the
that-
Cup Series, and then Sam Mayer and Sheldon Creed in the Xfinity Series.
Well, that kind of goes to my point. Like, I had to question if Cole Custer was still a part of Haas because I haven't thought about Cole Custer this entire season. So anything that they need to do to either A, give Cole an opportunity to be competitive, or B, funnel into their system to where they can get a better driver that is going to actually make them money and not be average or below average at best, then I'm down for that move.
I
All
kind
right.
of
I
have to agree with
completely
that.
forgot about the Xfinity Series implications.
Oh, I knew about Sheldon Creed, but I completely forgot about Sam Mayer until this weekend when he won.
Well, but like when you mentioned Haas, I completely didn't even think about the Xfinity Series implications, because that's also, because when I was saying that wouldn't be much of a blip on the radar, it is Ford's only development team in the Xfinity Series now. Obviously, there's been the rumors about Penske potentially reopening their Xfinity Series program, so not sure where they are with that, but yeah, for Ford to lose really their only development seat in the Xfinity Series to Toyota would be a big blow.
That
Yeah.
Brad wants to. Brad was thinking. Brad, I mean, Brad and Penske have been thinking about bringing back their Xfinity programs. So, I mean, if they were to lose their development program, they got Penske and RFK, because Brad's been wanting to open up the Xfinity for a while.
Really, I thought I remembered hearing Brad say that he didn't see much value in the Xfinity Series program.
I saw a rumor saying that Brad wanted to restart his truck team and make the switch back to Dodge.
Yeah, I did see that as well.
But
like I
Tyler,
said,
what do you think about the Haas news?
honestly, whatever will stop the bleeding for Gene Haas. I mean, their team's doing great, and I'm doing decent F1, but if Haas, I think Cole Custer's like 30 something in points right now. He's not, like, he's irrelevant. So, I mean, I think it'd be a great idea if Gene Haas, Jimmy Johnson, and Richard Petty being a team owner. I think them merging together, I think, would be a pretty good idea to have the 41, 42, and 43. That would be a pretty solid team, honestly.
He is speaking of Cole Custer, he is 33rd in
Okay,
point
so
standings.
that's what I thought. I figured he was that low. But then, like Ryan pointed out about the Xfinity thing, like, you've got Sam Mayer and Sheldon Creed going after a championship, because they're in, like, I think they're in the top. Xfinity's top 12, right, for the playoffs?
Yes.
I was to say, well, Sam Mayer just locked himself in the playoffs, and Sheldon Creed is, I think, right up there too as well.
He's
He is-
eighth
So, I
in
mean,
points.
He's
so they're
10th.
both.
He's 10th in the playoff standings.
But see what I mean? But Ford losing their Xfinity development program, that would be a blow. But, like, to think about it, Penske starting back up their Xfinity program might help a little bit. But then, like, teams like AM Racing and stuff like that, or not AM. What was the one team that Deegan raced for? I think, what was it called?
That was AM.
That was AM. Okay.
Yeah,
And
AM had.
and AM's closing its doors, I think, right?
They already did.
They've got Harrison Burton, don't they?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
Harrison Burton. No, yeah, it was the 5 car that was not getting closed, I thought.
Yeah, that's Our Motorsports.
Yeah. I mean,
But, like,
when you think about it, the only other real, I guess, contending Ford team left if this happens would be Ryan Sieg Racing, but that's a family-owned team.
I don't think they would ever like consider a contract to become a developed. I mean, they probably could for the money if you think about it. Like especially if like Penske or RFK offer them money.
Yeah.
Because I mean, honestly, wouldn't it be cool to see Ryan Sieg or Kyle Sieg be really good in the points or get a win with backing from either RFK or Penske? That would be kind of cool. But the thing is like I said, they don't want to break away from the family-owned aspect of it.
Yeah. Every week I'm pulling for Ryan Sieg because he's from Georgia, like an hour and a half from me. So
I don't
Yeah.
know if this is still a rumor because I heard it a few years ago, but it wasn't Thor thinking about making an Xfinity team.
ThorSport. I think
I
that
heard a
would-
rumor like
that
I heard
rumor
like
got killed years ago.
I was gonna say that's what I thought, but I just didn't know if that was still circulating or not.
Yeah. So our next off-track topic before we get into our recap, it's gonna be kind of a tie-in here. They had the ARCA series run this weekend at Iowa, and the pole speed for the ARCA series was faster than the pole speed for the Cup series, if you can believe it.
Wait, whoa, hold up, what?
Yes. So Elton Sawyer was on Sirius XM NASCAR today, and he said that a horsepower increase is definitely 100% on the table for 2026.
Hell yeah.
But he said that the biggest challenge, and this is a statement that is, I've never been so confused by a statement in my entire life when everybody's been screaming for it. The biggest challenge, he said, for him is figuring out which short tracks to increase horsepower on.
All.
Yes. So, Ryan, let me get your thoughts on that.
All of them. They increase the horsepower at the short track. It had a short track called Talladega. Increase all the horsepower. All the tracks.
You're missing another key
But
part
no,
increase.
In all seriousness, though, I do think that the horsepower increase, especially with the increased amount of downforce they have, because as they continue to increase the downforce, when you increase downforce and don't change the horsepower, naturally the cars are going to slow down. And especially after they did a massive horsepower cut back a couple years ago. So I
They
do
did-
feel like the cars have really needed a little extra power to help be able to make some of these passing moves actually exist again. So I'm definitely curious to at least give it a try because we've tried almost anything else to fix this problem. So, but I'm glad to see them at least try it.
I want to
try
see Jamie's
something.
opinion before I go mine.
Yeah, go ahead, Jayme.
It's just the more.
There we go. Sorry, still working on my being able to mute and unmute. No, I mean, Ryan said a lot of things. So just in the interest of saying something different, because I agree with all of what Ryan said, I think it's just plain out embarrassing for NASCAR that you have an ARCA driver posting a lap speed faster than your mainstream like pro roster that everyone pays that like hundreds of dollars to see.
I mean, I paid 154 for the Glen.
Yeah, my point exactly. Like, if I was him, I would be out there saying, "Look, I could have beaten the brakes out of anybody on the Cup Series team with my car, my ARCA car, and win based on pole speed." I doubt that he would have actually won, but that's the mindset that I would be going into it.
Can I add something to that, Jayme? If you think about it, I believe the Xfinity series was almost exactly the same, roughly the same speed as the Cup too, as well. If not,
it was
slightly slower.
3 mile an hour slower.
And they're the same horsepower.
What
But
about you,
So
Tyler?
the difference between and truck is, I mean, obviously the wind dynamics of a truck is going to make you be slower
oh
just
yeah,
because of how the trucks are built. That's just
right,
aerodynamics.
and they
But
have a lower.
there is, yeah, there is no way on earth, there should be no world where an ARCA driver is posting a speed that beats the brakes off of even the slowest Cup Series driver. That shouldn't even be a possibility.
It depends on the track because I've seen it done at Bristol a couple times in the last couple of years. There was one Bristol where I believe it was when the first next gen came out.
I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm saying if the Cup Series is going to be your marquee attraction, the speeds need to be faster than any of the other series, and you need to have the drivers there who are going to be better than any other driver in any other series. And
All right.
for something like this to happen, then like it's kind of like, what are you doing wrong with the main roster, with the mainstream cars that people pay hundreds of dollars to see, where those cars are slower than ARCA cars?
And the Cup cars had fast. Go ahead, Ryan.
Just a quick question: do you guys know which driver beat the set that time that beat the Cup car?
Brent Cruz.
Just curious if it's a. Okay, so it was a teenager. I was gonna say, because if it was one of the more experienced ARCA drivers, I'd at least feel a little bit better about it. But no, an 18-year-old
fact
in
that
an ARCA car absolutely should not have that kind of speed and knowledge. Because
You
like,
know,
if it was an older driver, I
if
could
that
give
was
the edge
that
on the
was,
experience.
But the thing is ARCA cars are
I'm just saying,
literally
if
like.
it was,
Sorry, Jayme. Go ahead.
sorry, yeah, I'm just saying, if I was 18 years old and I was told that I had the fastest lap time for qualifying out of the entire weekend, my ego would be through the roof. You would not shut me up.
100%.
I'm just saying.
That's like somebody saying like hit the furthest home run and the youngest player to hit the furthest home run in MLB.
Oh yeah, I'd be cocky as hell walking around the garage area all weekend. But
anyway,
go ahead, Tyler. What were your thoughts?
My personal opinion is, increase the horsepower for every track, but also my thing is go with what they used to go with back in like the early 2010s when the Gen 6 first came out. High horsepower, low downforce at the short tracks. Make the car harder to drive. Reduce the downforce. I mean, it's going to also, one, reduce the dirty air. Two, people are going to fight the car a little bit more instead of shifting back down into a gear to fix the car. I say get rid of the fifth gear at short tracks as well. Fifth gear is not needed in a short track. Shifting doesn't need to happen unless it's on a road course or Pocono.
Right, and that's
getting rid of that fifth gear would be a massive redesign to the car, though.
All they have to do is adjust the gear ratio. That's literally it.
Well, I was going to say that's something that we've mentioned a few times on the podcast is, shifting on short tracks, that didn't start until this car. But,
Martinsville happened in Gen 6 a little bit, like towards the end of a tire run. Like they would grab third gear because the tires were wearing down and it was easier to save the car back when the tires were wearing.
Yeah. Well, speaking of tires, I was going to say, you increase the horsepower, reduce the downforce, and give us the softest tire that you can. And I guarantee you the short tracks would be 1,000% better.
But how much horsepower do you guys think, though? That's the real question. I think, honestly, go back to, like, the mid-2010s. Like, not go back to 900. I think I do agree with most engine builders. 900 horsepower would destroy the engines. I 100% agree with that. I would say, like, 750 to 800, right around there, with a higher RPM range. And, like I said, more throttle response. Make the guys work. That's what I was talking about with the aero. Also, speaking of Can we add something onto the thing that a lot of people are talking about? Fuel mileage. What is your guys' opinion on the fuel mileage racing that's been happening a lot more with the Gen 7 car?
Well, that was going to be something that we were going to get into here in a little bit.
It ties right into the like short track thing. That's why I was like, sorry.
No, you're good. Right now, I hate fuel mileage races because they always make a big deal. Oh, well, he's got to save enough fuel to get to the end and stuff. And then they get to the end and they have enough fuel to do a burnout and get to victory lane and all that. It's like they were never going to run out in the first place. Like it's happened 2 weeks in a row with Indy and Iowa. And both times the driver had enough to get to victory lane. It's like, I don't get it, but
Oh boy.
you other guys go ahead, Jayme, Ryan.
I think at this point it's just a strategy of the race that unfortunately is a big part of this car, and drivers that are really good at saving gas are the ones that you see who excel the most so far in this gen of car. It's boring. It's not exciting when it turns into a fuel mileage race, but it still keeps you guessing. It still makes you question and pay a little bit more attention of, is this person actually going to run out of gas or are they going to finish it? So, I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but I mean, I got no qualms with it because I've accepted that's just what it is with this car.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, normally I don't mind fuel mileage races, like back in like the 2010s with the Gen 5s, like the car tomorrow, and the Gen 6 cars, because you actually, like, they had it calculated down. Like, if you look at 2014, the Las Vegas race that Brad Keselowski won.
That Junior ran out of fuel. I'm still salty about that.
Steve Letarte said you're going to be a half a lap short, and he was a half a lap short. But like with these cars, they talk about fuel mileage. Oh, well, he may run out here, but he also may run out here. And then you have Joey Logano at Nashville last year going 110 laps on the same tank of gas and 5 overtimes. It's like, how much fuel are they actually holding in these cars?
Oh, William. I don't know if you guys heard, but William Byron won. I mean, granted, there was 50 laps of caution, but he ran 140 laps on that tank of fuel.
Yeah. Ryan, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest thing, and this has been kind of leaning towards for a while, but the teams have way too much access to each other's data. Like the fact that Kyle Larson can ask, "Hey, where's Christopher Bell lifting off to start saving fuel? Like, how much off throttle time is Christopher Bell getting?" Like, I can understand teammates or even manufacturers having alliances and sharing some of that data. The entire Cup Series field does not need access to the entire rest of the Cup Series field's data, because being able to do the guesswork off of that, yeah, because it really kind of limits the advantage from some of the teams being able to, like, for example, Harvicking at Atlanta, when Kevin Harvick used to basically baffle everybody with how much off throttle time he could get at Atlanta on the old surface.
He was literally lifting off right after the start finish line and coasting into the corner.
Yeah, and he was able to make a line happen that nobody else could figure out. And with all the data available to every team, again, the fact that completely unrelated cars like a Hendrick Chevy can ask, "Hey, where's this Ford driver lifting off, or where is he able to? How much fuel saving is he doing? Where is he lifting off the gas?" Versus having to guesstimate based on what you could hear from the racetrack and what data you could maybe guesstimate based on their previous pit stop. But the fact that they all have access to the very precise data makes it a lot a lot easier for the crew chiefs to know exactly where everybody else stands. And I do think it takes a little bit of the element of strategy away.
Can I say something real quick, Ryan?
Yeah.
NASCAR is one of the very few series where they allow all the teams to the SMT data. It's actually illegal in most FIA sanctioned races and IndyCar. Did you know that? You're not supposed to know any team's data except for your own teams.
I find that very interesting. It's one of those things like why is you said NASCAR is the only one that does it?
One of maybe one of two series where
Any
they're
other
allowed to
series of
see
note?
every. I think I might be wrong on the IndyCar, but I think IndyCar might be the other one, but I could be wrong. But I think
That's weird.
IMSA
from
is
a-
another one that they're allowed to see the other data because of being NASCAR owned.
Yeah, just from it's a competition, right? They're competitors. Like you should not like to Ryan's point. You should not have everybody's inside information on that stuff.
Again,
Like,
especially rival teams.
It's there's teams at F1 that have gotten banned for just even snipping and suspended and fined for even thinking about looking at their car data. It's like they take that stuff seriously because it's an unfair advantage for a lot of, well, not necessarily. What's the point of competition if you're just going to it's a copy paste everywhere? Everybody trying to do the same thing. What's the point of competition at that point?
Honestly, I think that'd make qualifying a whole lot more interesting too. Because imagine if every driver was going out there or if we had 10 to 15 different ideas as to what makes a good lap in qualifying, and the drivers only had, for example, their own teammates' data to go off of, and what they could maybe gauge from watching the other drivers attempt the lap, but not being able to see okay, he lifted at exactly this point.
Yeah, I hate the fact that you can see everybody else's data. I've never ever been a fan of that. Jayme, you got something else to add?
no, I was just pretty much going to say the same thing. Like, it's one thing if teammates can try to share information to help their team perform better, like Ryan said, but there's no reason that other competitors should have access to all of your stuff and know when your breaking points are, know when you're backing out of the throttle. Oh, this person's trying to control the pace of the race and they're only going this speed, so that means we can go this speed and prolong our gas as well. That shouldn't be a thing. Like, if you're a competitor, the only thing that should matter is you and your team and your teammates. What are you guys doing to win the race? And if your calculations are better than theirs, then just run off that, not piggyback off of the data that you're seeing because you have access to the other teams.
Yep. But we're going to move into our recap segment now. Xfinity Series, we talked about it a few minutes ago. Sam Mayer for Haas Factory Team got the win, giving Haas Factory Team technically their first win. And that broke Connor Zilich's streak of 3 in a row, who was going for 4 in a row. But one of the big stories coming out of that race was the missed caution for the oil that was being dumped on the racetrack by the 99 car until Brandon Jones hit it and ended up spinning and effectively ending his day. Ryan, what were your thoughts on the Xfinity race on Saturday?
Actually, for probably the first time in a while, I didn't actually get a chance to watch any of the Xfinity Series race, so I really don't have a whole lot of thoughts on it. I was actually quite surprised when I looked at it and saw Sam Mayer got the win. So, yeah, I didn't actually get to watch much of, if any, of the race.
Yeah, I barely was able to catch a little bit of it on the radio, but I heard, Twitter and Facebook lighting up about that stuff with the oil and all that, and then the winner. Jayme, what about you?
I hadn't even gotten around to looking at highlights because with me in SummerSlam and such.
Tyler?
Yeah, I didn't really watch it except for the oil part and the Sam Mayer wedding. So
All right. Well, then I guess we'll move to the Cup Series race. William Byron wins after, like we talked about, stretching his fuel, quote unquote. It's his first race win since the Daytona 500, even though he's been leading the regular season point standings for the majority of the season. But, everybody was talking about it. Iowa's a short track. Cars can't pass. I don't quote me or correct me if I'm wrong. There wasn't a single green flag pass for the lead, unless it was during like green flag pit stops. Dirty air sucks. And they were aero blocking on a short track, which that one was new to me. 12 cautions, which ties the season record for the Cup Series. And we have another driver and a crew chief this time pissed off at Carson Hocevar. Looked like Hocevar got loose going into one of the turns and took out Todd Gilliland in the 38. So one of my questions to you guys is, we've seen all of...
Zane.
Oh, was it Zane Smith?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Todd's
bad.
in 34.
Oh, my bad. Zane Smith. So one of my questions to you guys is, we've seen a lot of drivers get mad at Carson Hocevar this year, but nobody has ever done anything about it. When does someone finally take care of the quote unquote problem? Starting with Ryan.
All right. Honestly, I mean, the biggest thing when it comes to a driver trying to enforce that thing is, the problem is anytime the driver's trying to enforce it themselves, they usually end up getting penalized harder by NASCAR, which is, yeah, just the unfortunate state of the circumstances. Now, I don't know if, I haven't seen NASCAR really penalize too much for off the track altercations, although we haven't really had any super major off the track altercations in a couple of years, I don't think. I mean, I don't remember the last time I actually saw a driver swinging at another driver. It's been, I feel like, a year or two since we've actually seen a physical fight. We had the All-Star race last year with Stenhouse and Busch. I think that was the last time we had an actual fist fight on track.
Yeah, I was going to say the last one that I remember besides that one was Ross Chastain and Noah Gragson.
And that was, what, 2022?
Yep.
So, yeah, again, it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, do the drivers need to start... How does NASCAR want the drivers to start self-policing? Because if NASCAR is not going to do something about it, which I don't mind NASCAR letting the drivers do it, the problem is if NASCAR is not going to police it themselves, they need to let the drivers police it. And if you're not going to let the drivers police it, you have to do it yourself. So one or the other has to happen. Either NASCAR has to let up on some of the penalizing for retaliations, or they need to step up and handle the officiating the driver code themselves, which I don't think NASCAR wants to do, and I don't think most of us want NASCAR getting more involved in the driver code. But the problem is, again, the drivers, I feel like most drivers don't feel empowered to actually do something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically we could go back to the Boys Have At It from 2014, was it?
2010.
2010. But with these cars and the amount of injuries that have come from these cars, I don't think that would be a smart idea, honestly.
Yeah, and again, that's where I feel you're at a really weird kind of crossroad where it's like, okay, what is the right move here? Because I mean, honestly, the only other thing I could see would be maybe if hosts of ours team Spire Motorsports were to step in and tell him, hey, you're getting too many people upset with us. But problem is, right now at least, it's working for him. He's getting results for his own team. He's getting media exposure for their sponsors. I don't see any reason why they would want him to change it a thing.
Yeah. What about you,
I
Jayme?
mean,
So I feel like it's going to be a driver that's going to end up taking it into their own hands to try and solve the host of our problem, and I fear that it's going to happen within the next 3 weeks. It's going to be one of these bubble drivers that's going to get taken out due to aggressive driving by host of our. If I had to, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I probably put it on Chris Buescher. He's known to have a little bit of a temper, especially when things get tough for him, especially if he feels like he has a good car and he has a car to win and get it into the playoffs. And if we see a world where we're at the Glen and Chris Buescher is, let's say, 6, and Hocevar makes an aggressive move into turn 1 to try and get some extra spots and takes out Buescher towards the end of that race, there's going to be a fight. There's going to be a fight.
can I nominate Ricky Stenhouse Jr. to get that revenge? I mean, he's the most due for it.
Yeah. And don't forget, we have another short track coming up too in Richmond right before Daytona. So, we've all seen tempers flare at short tracks. Like maybe Richmond could be the weekend. What about you, Tyler?
Oh, it's gonna probably be Daytona. They're gonna like someone of the bubble drivers is gonna be at Daytona. Host Fire is gonna make a dumb move, and then somebody's going to punt him and take out the whole field. That's just how I have a feeling. It's gonna happen at either Daytona or Richmond.
I guarantee you, if Hocevar makes a dumb move at Daytona and causes a couple of the bubble drivers to get eliminated, they're not going to do anything on track. They're going to wait for the race to end, and there is going to be a brawl on pit road. It is going to be full on.
100%.
It is going to be full on WWE WrestleMania on pit road at Daytona.
You just know for the fact that he's going to do something stupid at Daytona.
I mean, I don't know. But I mean, coming out of the weekend, my other question to you
Can
guys
we have a
is,
wrestling ringer on standby for that race?
I'm sure we could find one
Did
somewhere.
WWE bring a mobile wrestling ring for them to step into as soon as they get out of the cars?
Bring Brock
Let's
Lesnar and The
let's start
Undertaker.
a lap down GoFundMe for a wrestling ring that I can take to Daytona with me.
My other question to you guys is, we've seen, we saw Byron get through the wreck at Daytona earlier this year to win the 500, and he was in position to win a couple more races, but couldn't get it done. And as I stated a few minutes ago, this is his first win since the 500. Could this be a little bit of momentum picking up for him, or could this be maybe the year where he's an actual championship contender? Starting with Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been talking about Byron as a real championship contender for a couple of years now, but I think this is kind of the first year where he hasn't racked up multiple race wins. I just question if he'll be able to carry that momentum because, we've talked about, the variety of tracks these next few weeks. I mean, we've got Watkins Glen, which he could do okay at, but knowing the history on the road courses this year, probably going to be a bit more of the SVG show. Then you've got Richmond, which is a fairly close comparison to what we had here. And then we go into Daytona, which obviously he did win earlier this year, but I don't put a whole lot of stock in a driver winning Daytona, meaning that they're more likely to win the Daytona summer race because, one, extremely different weather conditions, and two, have you ever tried to pick back-to-back winners at Daytona? It does not happen very often.
Last time it happened was Jimmy Johnson in 2013.
Well, don't
Yeah,
forget
and I
too
mean even
that
back-to-back plate wins don't happen very often either.
well don't forget too that the summer race at Daytona in 2020 is where Byron picked up his very first career win.
Yeah, but again, it's one of those races where you're spinning about a 20 car roulette wheel, just waiting to see which one's gonna fall into victory lane.
That is true. But we all know what's probably going to happen at Daytona is going to be 3 wide fuel saving and then 2 wide open for the final 30 laps. And whoever's in front's most likely going to win the race.
Now, here's the real
Unless
question:
there's a big wreck.
if we get a last lap wreck, do you think we see a caution immediately, or do you think they try and let them race it back? Because that was the conversation earlier this year, was NASCAR going back and forth on that rule.
Yeah, that is true. And what's the over-under on Ryan Preece ended up upside down again?
Did he end up upside down this last year too as well at the 500?
Yep. But
I think the odds might be upside down.
Oh my
But,
God, Ryan.
Jayme, what are your thoughts on Willie B?
I think it's going to be interesting because it's definitely winning is always going to be a momentum builder. It's always going to kind of put to bed some of the self-doubts that you may have been having up to that point. Now, that will be put to the test at the Glen. Willie B has not had the best average at the Glen. It's not a favorite track of his. But if he can ride that momentum and put together a solid effort, then I definitely think that that it can carry over into the final 3 races, and then he goes right back to the track that he last won at, previous to Iowa.
All right. Tyler, what about you?
About William Byron. I think honestly, like, I could see him being really good at Daytona, but like, we'll see. I mean, he's had good cars. He just like had been unlucky, especially with the fuel at Indy running out last week at Indy. And then Michigan, he ran out fighting for the win. So he lost out on some points there. Otherwise, I think he's going to be pretty solid going into the playoffs.
Well, not to mention too, he retook the regular season point standing lead too from Chase Elliott by 18 points, and the winner of the regular season gets the 15 bonus points too. So I mean that could help too. But one of the other big stories coming out of Iowa before we go into our next segment was Bubba Wallace. Winner at Indy last week, and then he had suffered a bent or broken toe link in the race, and with 80 laps to go, was 2 laps down, and caught a couple of free passes and drove all the way up from dead last to 6th place finish. Now we saw, kind of all day, like William Byron went 140 laps. Granted, the last, quarter of the race was run under caution, but it didn't really seem like tires mattered all that much. But, Bubba had, I guess, fresh tires every time he pitted on those cautions and was able to drive up to a top 10. Do you think the repave or the partial repave that they had with Iowa has something to do with the tire wear, Ryan?
I kept hearing people talking about the repave, and I mean, that looked like one of the sloppiest amounts of patchwork I've seen in a while. I mean, I could barely tell what parts of the track had been repaved. And certainly, if I was a driver trying to find a spot on the racetrack that had cleaner or that had fresher pavement, I'm not sure I could find a consistent line that actually ran in the pavement, in the new pavement consistently.
What about you, Jayme?
I mean, that was the biggest thing for me, was just, couldn't find where the pavement was.
I mean, it it didn't seem like tires mattered as much. Like yes, Bubba was able to kind of like salvage his day with getting the new tires each pit stop, but it wasn't as apparent as you would see at normal tracks, right? It's not, you're just seeing them carving people up left and right because they have new tires. It didn't. He would, like, he was making moves, but it was very it was slow moves is, I guess, how you would describe it. I mean, it's it's kind of hard to really give an opinion on it because I mean the whole race in general was not necessarily like the best to watch. There wasn't many like controversial things, with the exception of Kyle Larson getting used as a ping pong ball. But uh, that the top between the tires, the fuel saving. I mean, there was like the different strategies. Like there was a moment in time where everybody was on different cycles, which I thought was interesting. Then the caution flew, and then pretty much put everybody back on the same cycle. But I don't know. It was just kind of like tires. I wish it mattered more than what it looks like.
Yeah. What about you, Tyler?
Yeah, like I said with Ryan, I agree with Ryan with like I couldn't tell where this pavement was, but also the fact is I don't understand why there was no really tire fall off. It was extremely hot. The track temperature was through the roof, and the track was slick. And it having the new pavement, it made it like treacherous. Obviously, with all the wrecks in the weekend. I personally
It
think the
it wasn't that hot. They said it was only about 75 degrees.
still with the sun beating down on the track. I'm talking about the track itself, not the air temperature.
Oh, that's true.
But my point being is that, like I said, the pavement. I think the new pavement in 1 and 2 from last year aged a lot better than people thought, and it made it like race a little bit like Texas did back in 2022, where they were having higher speeds, but they couldn't find the grip, and they were over pushing, and that's why a lot of this, like a lot of spinning by themselves. They were over pushing. Like that was really the only time the tires were the thing, was when they were over pushing the corners and they were spinning out by themselves.
Well, and you can do that at Texas where there is space to spin and have it only affect you or maybe one other car. When you do that at a short track like they did at Iowa, you have a lot of cars piling in very quickly.
Or I mean, SVG got lucky because he was by himself, and the field was spread out enough to the point where he could back it into the wall and not worry about anybody.
Yeah, that was the long green flag run. I was referring to the other 47 cautions that came after that.
That, and people were being aggressive with later in the race, and people were making dumb moves. Carson elsewhere.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're gonna go into our green flags and black flags segment. For our new listeners, green flags is something during the race weekend that we liked, and black flags is something that we did not like. Starting with Ryan.
All right. Well, for my green flag on the weekend, I will go ahead and give it to the weather, because we actually had some really nice looking weather out there. And from what I've heard from our buddy JP, who was at the track, it was a really great weather for race day, and considering some of the weather we'd had looming and the two late race rain delays the last 2 weeks, it was nice to get a race in without a rain delay right at the end. So I'll give that as my green flag. Black flag, I think we all know where at least one black flag definitely is deserved. And I'll go ahead and give it to the aero package on the car. In particular, I'll give it to the highlight of the ARCA car being faster than the Cup car. Because that is, as Jayme said, flat out embarrassing.
Yep. What about you, Jayme?
So, couple things. For a green flag, I saw an interesting stat. This is just kind of like an honorable mention before I actually get into my green flag and black flag. The actual race hosted the highest amount of views from any sporting event on NBC Sports that weekend. It beat out the Tour de France. It beat out the U.S. Gymnastics Championships, the PGA Golf Tournament, and it even beat out like some of like the NBA like summer league games. So there was a lot of eyes on that race over the weekend. But as far as my actual like green flag is concerned, I'm actually going to give it out to Chase Briscoe. We have been very vocal about the fact that the man can start up front, but he cannot finish up there. And he was a steady contender throughout the race. He stayed up there. He stayed consistent. He didn't get lost in the shuffle like he's been known to do. And just building some solid momentum for at a race that I had questions if he was going to be able to maintain his momentum. I think his pit stall had a lot to do with it, especially at a track like Iowa. But to have the ability to monitor the tires, to manage the fuel, and still be in the running at the end to see if he could track down William Byron to get a race win. Says a lot to him and his team. There was no pit road penalties that sabotage his day. So kudos to him and his team. Black flag. I mean, we kind of talked about it, right? We talked about I could go the ARCA route with the embarrassment. I could go with how much is too much when it comes to fuel saving. But at the end of the day, I think it's just all about the tires. The tires is what stood out to me. They didn't fall off like I thought they were going to. There was no real advantage with having newer tires, especially not in this race. So that's my black flag.
All right. Before we go to Tyler, a little bit of breaking news. Jeff Gluck just posted NASCAR has announced that Austin Hill has been granted a playoff waiver to still compete in the NASCAR playoffs. But I'm sure, as you guys talked about last week, he loses all of his playoff points from his suspension and will not gain any playoff points from this point forward until the playoffs start. Just wanted to throw that out there. But go ahead, take it away, Tyler. What's your green flags and black flags?
My personal opinion is, honestly, I have to give green flags to like NBC Sports. They were actually fairly solid for their first week back in USA Network, and kudos to having one of the highest viewed sports of the weekend. But like I said, the sports, Lee Diffie, Steve Letarte, and Jeff Burton. I mean, Jeff Burton, don't get me wrong, can be annoying, but he's nowhere near the level of Clint Boyer annoying. I'd rather deal with those three. Lee Diffie did a fantastic job.
What you got against my boy Boyer?
You know how bad he is. Don't lie to yourself.
No, come on, man. You don't like the entertainment value that he brings?
Not really, no.
What?
No, I don't like it.
Oh,
I don't.
no.
I don't think it's the entertainment value. I think it's the point that he doesn't know when to be quiet, as we
Yeah,
talked about a few times. Like he wants to like talk over Mike Joy trying to call the winner to the finish.
yep. But
All
my
right, I mean,
black,
sorry,
but
I was
my
just gonna say I
black
can see
flag,
that. It's just
my black flag, honestly, is I'm gonna have to give it to Carson Hocevar this week, honestly, because like I said, he's an aggressive driver. He's not here to make enemies. He's here to race. That was Joey Logano's motto when he first came into the Cup Series. He wasn't looking to make friends. He was looking to race. But I
That
think
still is motto.
that is true. But that's besides the point. But my point being is, if finally somebody stood up to Carson Hocevar besides Ricky Spinhouse, and it's honestly, if Carson Hocevar, I mean, I understand that it's getting the publicity, but one of these days, Hocevar is going to cause the incident, and he's gonna get his ass kicked. He's gonna get his ass kicked.
As the best in the world CM Punk once said on an episode of Monday Night Raw after he returned, "I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money." So I have a couple of green flags and a couple of black flags. I'm actually going to start with my black flags. My first black flag goes to NBC. There was a good battle for the lead going on in lap traffic, and they decided to cut to a full screen commercial. Good job, NBC. Great job. My second black flag goes to all of the keyboard warriors on Twitter giving Lee Diffie unwarranted hate.
I thought it was fantastic.
Lee Diffie is a goated commentator, a legend in commentating, and I honestly wish he could do NASCAR commentating full time for all of the broadcasts, like Fox, Prime, TNT, and NBC. Just give the man a full time contract. I could listen to him talk about racing all day long.
Him and Adam
100%
Alexander.
agree with that.
That would be an awesome booth. Him, Adam Alexander, and Dale Jr. would be an awesome booth.
Yep. Jayme, you were talking about, you gave your green flag to Chase Briscoe. And I was going to add on to that, the run that Chase Briscoe's been on lately with all these polls, which is 6 on the year so far, reminds me of 2000's Ryan Newman.
Rocket Man.
Yes. But my green flag, or two of my green flags, first one goes to the Xfinity series. They drew over 1 million viewers this past weekend for the second year in a row for this race. So good job to them. And my second green flag goes to actually two drivers, Brad Keselowski and Ryan Preece, RFK. Now I know
RFK has been on a tear.
Yeah, I know Preece and Keselowski aren't. Well, I think Preece might be in the hunt for the playoffs, but I know Keselowski is not. They are basically in must-win situations, but it's good to see both of those drivers have a good day and a good run. But
I believe Keselowski was one of the fastest cars towards the end of the race, too.
Yes. Well, I mean, he straight up took the lead at one point early in the race. But we're going to go into our next topic. Tylor, this is your favorite weekend out of the year. They're going to Watkins Glen, road course number 5 on the year.
I'm going to probably roast I'm going to look like Larry the Lobster in a banana suit on Monday. Oh,
man, I so can't wait for that. You don't know how excited I am to see it.
Yes, you guys be sure to tune in next week. Tylor will be in a banana suit. I am so excited for that.
I actually kind of excited for it too because I'm actually looking forward to it.
And Tylor, you are going to be dubbed as Banana Man for the entire podcast.
Okay. But anyway, Yours truly will be actually
Does he have
there.
Does he have a theme song?
Na, banana man.
Oh, I will find and make him a theme song.
Oh.
No, you have
Rest
to.
assured.
You have to do the peanut butter jelly time.
I don't have maracas, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would. But yes,
But
tune in next week, and it's going to be a great episode. It's going to be funny.
But yeah, well, speaking of us wearing stuff on the podcast, before we go into our picks, earlier in the season, Jayme and I had a bet that Alex Bowman had to win a race before by Dover, and he came close a couple of times, but did not get the job done. So, Jayme, a bet is a bet. Like I said before we went on air, it will probably take me a minute to get some Chase Elliott gear, but most likely, if I go to Talladega in October, I will buy a shirt and a hat, and I will wear it on the following podcast that week.
And then instead of wiping your butt with it afterwards, you can just mail it to me.
No, I'm going to set it on fire and send you the video.
Oh, don't hurt my soul like that. Don't hurt
You
my soul.
just hurt Jamie's and my souls a little bit.
That's better than what I thought he was gonna say. I thought he was gonna say I was gonna set it on fire, then send it to you.
Yeah, I'll send you the ashes.
Oh, Ryan,
no.
that is so diabolical.
That is
Why would you do that?
diabolical. Why, Ryan?
All right, well, back to the
I
current
was
topic
suggesting
that
that he
we're on.
sends it while it's still on fire.
Dang. Dark Dyer over there, man.
All right, well, back to the topic that we were on. Watkins Glen this weekend. I would say probably one of the better road courses on the Cup Series schedule. Very fast, a fast road course. And you know, we saw what happened last year. I know whoever gets the first pick is probably going to pick the obvious pick, but we saw what happened last year. But that one of the great finishes of 2024, SVG and Chris Buescher on a last lap battle. That was pretty cool. But I do have our names on the wheel right here. And let's see who gets pick number one. Yeah. It is going to be...
I will be live from Watkins Glen.
Tylor.
Okay, I'm doing it. I'm going to SVG.
Picking the low-hanging fruit, I see.
I mean, Chase Elliott's been good for me the last few weeks, but you can't go wrong with SVG on a road course.
That is true.
And I need a win to beat Ryan.
Yep. Ryan's been holding steady on the points lead for the majority of the season. All right. Next pick goes to me. I'm sorry, Ryan, but I'm taking Michael McDowell.
Oof. Oof.
You know this means war, right?
Oh, yeah, I know. And next pick. How about that? Next pick goes to Ryan.
Oh, so now I don't even get time to think.
The power of the wheel.
No, I'm not actually taking Carl Edwards. No matter how funny it would be if Carl Edwards did just end up in a ride. I'll go Mr. Consistency. I will go ahead and I will take Chase Elliott.
Yeah, I'll be wearing Chase Elliott gear all weekend, but I am going to buy an SVG shirt. Actually, I've been wanting to buy one.
I believe that might be the first time that Ryan has picked Chase Elliott in the 2 years that we've done this.
I think I picked Chase Elliott for like 7 straight weeks.
Well, I mean, at this point, all I need is a driver who won't crash, and I'll be able to hold on to the points lead.
Don't jinx him, please. Don't jinx him.
Watch Chase Elliott end up Watch Chase Elliott end up upside down in the Armco barrier or some shit.
Watch him run out of fuel in the bus stop again.
all I need is a driver who isn't going to crash, and I can maintain this points lead. So I just need to pick Chase Elliott the rest of the way, clearly.
You got to get to me first.
All right. Well, last pick. I wonder who it could be. Jayme.
Me? No. So the way this season has gone, it's not going my way for picks. So you know what? If I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out with a bang. So I'm gonna take Connor Zilic.
Oh. I actually forgot he was racing.
Yeah, I completely forgot he was racing, actually.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
He's pulling triple duty this weekend too.
Truck, Xfinity,
Yes,
and
sir.
Cup.
Yeah.
Well, I think the first driver to do triple duty since Kyle Busch back in like 2018.
Well, and I think that's a real shot to try and go for the triple win. I mean, obviously, SVG will be there in Xfinity and in Cup to try and stop him from getting the triple, but I think that's a real shot at seeing a triple winner.
What's that?
I don't know. What?
I said, can I get triple points if he somehow accomplishes that?
I tell you what.
The 3 wins in the weekend?
I tell you what. I make up the rules as we go sometimes on picks. If Connor Zilic somehow manages to sweep the weekend, all 3 series, I will give you 100 points.
Hey, let's go.
No, you have to watch out for Corey Hive in the trucks, though. That's it. That's really his only.
But don't forget, I know picks haven't gone your way this year, Jayme. But after Daytona, everything's going to reset. Everybody will be at 600 points except for whoever wins the regular season.
Yeah.
By the way, that 100 points would literally put him ahead of me with 1 pick, going from 10th to
but
1st.
Ryan, he's also banking with how my luck has been this whole year. The likelihood of that happening is slim to none. But if it somehow happens, dang, I deserve those 100 points.
In the truck,
absolutely.
It's going to be hard for the trucks because of how good Corey Haim is.
I think the trucks are the easiest of the 3, though, because he doesn't have SVG to compete against. I mean, Corey Haim's not going to be easy, but yeah, he doesn't have Corey. He does have Corey Haim, but I think Corey Haim is a lot more beatable at a road course than SVG in Xfinity and Cup.
Well, look at the last road course that the trucks raced on, Lime Rock. He led all but 1 lap. Corey Haim did.
Well, yeah, he led every lap.
Because there's literally no competition in the trucks. I love the trucks, but there's no competition when it comes to road courses, unfortunately.
Well, and that road course in particular was so narrow that they couldn't make any sort of lap time. They couldn't really make any sort of passes.
It was like watching Monaco F1.
Yep. Well, I will get the rest.
Weird that that's the only road course the trucks have run this year, though.
Yeah. But me and Ryan will get the rest of the picks this week. Before we close out the show, it is time for another great, rousing edition of Jayme's Trivia. Jayme, what do you got for us tonight?
Well, before I get to that, I want to give a shout out to the Alkali Project. They just announced that come September 30th, they are coming out with a new album called Channel 235. So that's something that we should probably mention all the way up through this month and next month as a hype up for their new album coming out. But
absolutely.
With that being said, as of late, I've been on a roll, Greg. You haven't been on, but I've been on a roll, stumping mines and coming up with little factoids that has been kind of mind-boggling. So to continue that trend, I tried to give them a layup last week, and it still worked out in my favor. You probably would have gotten it, but for tonight's trivia,
Tylor should have gotten it.
What's that?
I should have gotten it. I feel really salty. I still didn't get that one last week.
Yeah, I kind of it was laid up for you and kind of missed it. But we are going to the nationwide series back on August 10th of 2013.
All right.
Who won that race?
Wow, that's a lot simpler than it normally is. I feel like it
Yeah,
normally is.
yeah. It is a Cup
All
driver.
right.
I'll tell you that too. It is a current Cup driver.
Okay.
Well, I think there's about two options. So who wants to take the first swing?
I
Uh,
think
You'll name your person, and we will wait till everyone has made their picks before I will say who is right and who's wrong.
go ahead, guys. I think I have mine. Go ahead.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think it's one of two people.
All right, Ryan, you start.
Well, considering I like him more, I'm gonna go ahead and take Kyle Busch of the two.
All right, Tyler.
Mm,
I crap. God, I think Ryan might be right, but I'm gonna stick with it and go with Kyle Busch as well.
Greg.
I'm torn between two because there's only a few active drivers left in the Cup Series that raced back then. I'm gonna say Brad Keselowski.
That was the other one I thought that it could have been.
All right, so now I'm going to name the current active drivers that were in that race.
Okay.
You had Kyle Larson. You had Joey Logano. You had Kyle Busch. You had Alex Bowman, Austin Dillon. You had Brad
Ty
Keselowski.
Dillon too, I believe.
Yeah, there were a bunch of Cup drivers in that
Ty Dillon
field.
was not in this race. But
who was it?
It was Brad Keselowski.
Yes.
So great job, Greg. Let's go.
Yeah, that was the two I was in between. I was between Kyle Busch or Keselowski.
I was torn between Keselowski and Denny Hamlin.
Since it is my home track, I actually do want to do. This one's not going to count for points. I do want to do a quick trivia. See if you guys can know it. This is who holds the record for the fastest qualifying lap at Watkins Glen in the Cup Series, and what was the time?
Oh, geez.
I have no idea what the lap time was. Can we get a year?
It was set in 2012.
All right. Well, that's right in that. I'm gonna just go ahead and take a guess. Was it Marcus Ambrose? Because I know that was right in his era, right?
Okay.
Marcus
Anybody
Ambrose.
else? Okay. What about you two?
I'm gonna say Jeff Gordon and a minute 22.
No. It's closer to like a minute 9, minute 8.
I don't know what the
Anyway,
lap times are at Watkins Glen.
Jayme.
Oh boy. I'm gonna say Kyle Busch, just because he's always been strong there. He's not the king of the Glen like Jeff Gordon is, but I think he's has some pretty fast laps. Time wise, I have absolutely no idea on time. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not even gonna throw out a time because I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, I think it's in the 108 ballpark. 108, 10 might even be 107.
109.248, and it was set by Juan Pablo Montoya.
Oh.
Okay, I knew I was right about it being. Yeah, I knew it was a road course specialist. I knew it probably wasn't a
Montoya,
regular.
He actually beat his own record he set in 2010, actually.
All right.
Those Cup cars were fast back then. There.
Yep.
It was the person who came close to beating it, and it came back in 2014 was Marcus Ambrose, like by a 10th.
Oh, okay. So I was actually not too far off. And hey, I would like a little bit of credit for actually having that lap time when I initially said 109, maybe even 108.
I mean, they were pretty damn close to making, and they were averaging about 110s in like the early 2000s, and that's about what they are at now. But
Yeah.
those cup cars were on a different level, the Gen 5 and Gen 6s at the Glen courses.
Yeah.
Well, that is going to close out our show tonight. Great stuff as always. And a big thank you to all of our sponsors, Fanatics, Century PC, Smackin' Sunflower Seeds, Dr. Squatch, Fubo TV, Circle B Diecast, promo code LAPDOWN at checkout for $5 off. Be sure to check out Ryan's YouTube page at Ryan Dyer for some great content over there. Also, be sure to check out our other podcasts, Dirt and Turf, Biscuits and Penalties, Passing the Pigskin, and The Hard Count, which is coming back. Football season is getting ready to start.
Oh, let me add on. Passing the Pigskin. Tune in this Thursday if you love college football. Me and one of the Newt City guys are going to be co-hosting the Passing the Pigskin if going back to school starting this Thursday.
Yep. And as always, we do it on the beginning and the end of the show. Shout out to Will and the Alkali Project. Jayme, thank you for the information for the new album coming out. Y'all go hit that pre-save button. Pre-save it. Get notified when it drops. And again, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to do all that. I was going to just do comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell when we go live. Our next podcast will be Thursday, and then we got the Dirt Turf on Friday. And don't forget to tune in Saturday for the hard count.
Yep. And again, this show is dedicated to the memory of my good friend Josh Beringer. May he rest in peace. But until next time, for Ryan, Jayme, and Tylor, I am Greg, and we will see you guys right after the goal bowling at the Glen.
Deuces.